Okay, well, good afternoon. I missed the good morning statement. It's just turned midday. It is Wednesday, July the 26th. We're going straight into the King James Bible. It's a beautiful day, by the way. Oh, and by the way, Charlotte did rise and shine this morning, and the pictures of Niagara Falls. What an incredible, incredible place. I was probably 4 years old, five maybe at the most, when I saw Niagara Falls. Haven't been back since. Oh, that would make it around about 62 years ago. Okay, how much erosion occurred in 62 years according to Charlotte's numbers? Answer in the comments below. Yeah, maybe not. We're going to go straight into the King James Bible, the book of Acts. We're in chapter 27, and it's split into two, so it's verses 1 to 26. And when it was all determined that we should sail to Italy, they delivered Paul and certain other prisoners unto one named Julius, a centurion of Augustus' band. And entering the ship of Amadritium, we launched, meaning to sail by the coast of Asia. One Aristarchus, a Macedonian of Thessalonica, being with us. And the next day we touched at Sidon, and Julius courteously entreated Paul and gave him liberty to go unto his friends and refresh himself. And when we had launched from thence, we sailed unto Cyprus, because the winds were contrary. And when we had sailed over the sea of Cilicia and Pamphylia, we came to Myra, a city of Lycia. And there the centurion found a ship of Alexandria sailing into Italy, and he put us therein. And when we had sailed slowly many days, and scarce were come over against Cnidus, the wind not suffering us, we sailed under Crete over against Salmone. And, hardly passing it, came unto a place which is called the Fair Havens, nigh whereunto was the city of Lasea. Now when much time was spent, when sailing was now dangerous, because the fast was now already past, Paul admonished them, and said unto them, Sirs, I perceive that this voyage will be with hurt and much damage, not only of the lading of the ship, but also of our lives. Nevertheless, the centurion believed the master and the owner of the ship more than those things which were spoken by Paul. And because the haven was not commodious to winter in, the more part advised to depart thence also, if by any means they might attain to Phoenice, and there to winter, which is a haven of Crete, and lieth towards the southwest and northwest. And when the south wind blew softly, supposing they had obtained their purpose, loosing thence, they sailed close by Crete. But not long after there arose against it a tempestuous wind, called Euroclydon. And when the ship was caught and could not bear up into the wind, we let her drive. And running under a certain island which is called Clauda, we had much work to come by the boat. Which when they had taken up, they used helps, undergirding the ship, and fearing lest they should fall into the quicksands, strake sail, and so were driven. And we, being exceedingly tossed with tempest, the next day they lightened the ship. And the third day we cast with our own hands the tackling of the ship. And when neither sun nor stars in many days appeared, and no small tempest lay upon us, all hope that we should be saved was taken away. But after long abstinence, Paul stood forth in the midst of them, and said, Sirs, ye should have hearkened unto me, and not loosed from Crete, and to have gained this harm and loss. And now I exhort you to be of good cheer, for there shall be no loss of any man's life among you, but of the ship. For there stood by me this night the angel of God, whose I am and whom I serve, saying, Fear not, Paul, thou must be brought before Caesar, and lo, God hath given thee all them that sail with thee. Wherefore, sirs, be of good cheer. For I believe God, that it shall be even as it was told me. Howbeit, we must be cast upon a certain island. Be of good cheer, repeated twice. This is an angel of the Lord. The words were not written in red. That was an angel. What do we take from that? I can tell you, having been in the Royal Navy and having actually done a little bit of leisure sailing, that when you're far from shore, when you cannot see land, but you can see water all around you, and the seas start to get rough, that is one of the most loneliest places you can be. The Mediterranean is a small ocean. They call it a sea, but it's a small ocean. And it can whip up and be very violent because of all the terrain that surrounds it and the prevailing winds. So the Mediterranean can get very violent. In actual fact, when I was in the Royal Navy, we pulled out of Valletta Harbor in Malta into a storm 6, and the ship was rocking. The bow of the ship would go under, the waves would crash over the bridge, and it was pretty terrifying. So you can imagine if you're in a situation like that and you've given up all hope. They tried everything they knew. They leaned on their own understanding as much as they could. They had girded the ship to try and keep it upright. That means putting stuff underneath it by ropes to give an upright buoyancy. The more that is in the water, the more the top of the ship will stay upright. That's why sailing boats have a great big fin that drops down into the water. So when they're leaning over, that fin is still in the water and pulling them along and keeping them in the water. They tried all that. They tried lightening the load by jettisoning even the tackle and the cargo. They dropped the sails. They just decided to go with the wind and let it take them instead of fighting it. That was it. That's all you can do. But Paul stands in front of them. First of all, he admonishes them. I think that's fair. But then he says, be of good cheer. Can you imagine being in the midst of something like that? You're being tossed around. The waves are crashing over the shore. And there's this guy saying, be of good cheer. In the middle of your storm, God can tell you to be of good cheer because he is in charge. If that's the only message you take away from this scripture, and that's the only message that I get, that we are to be of good cheer. And what did Jesus say? Be of good cheer, for I have overcome the world. Take that message with you today. Place it in your heart. Be of good cheer. When the storm is raging at its greatest, when you have done everything that you can do, be of good cheer. The Lord is with you. Because he loves you, and I love you too. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And why not? How far away has the Niagara Falls eroded in 63 years? Put your answer in the comments below. Bye for now.